I actually don't care about him, quote unquote, trying to steal the election. I don't think anyone thought that was going to actually work. I don't know if he tried to
Yeah,
steal it, but I
that's
get what you're saying.
insanity. That's the end of the
Uh,
country whenever you start making statements like that.
that's the end of the country.
Yes, whenever you stop caring about somebody electing like fundamentally and self-admittedly anti-democratic people to lead a democratic country and expect them to leave office in another 4 years because they respected our institutions so much the first time, yes, that's the end of our country. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Rinyald. And if you disagree with anything in the video, make sure you join the Discord and we can have a chat sometime. Cook Talk. How's it going, buddy?
What's up, man? I'm all right. How about you?
I'm doing okay. Doing okay. Do you disagree with what's up on the screen?
Um, if you support him, you're stupid or a liar. Yeah. I disagree with that part at least. Terrible is subjective, so I can't prove you right or wrong on that. But I don't think you're stupid to support him. I think that if you support him, maybe his values align with yours, or maybe what he said he's going to do aligns with what you want done.
Um, so I mean, I disagree. Even the things that Trump supporters purport to vote for Donald Trump for, it seems like he's either super misguided and it'd be stupid to vote for somebody for that, or he doesn't have the power to effectuate that kind of change, or he has tried to effectuate that change and he's just like laughably bad at it.
What about, for example, when he made an executive order saying that we're not going to recognize all the different genders, we're just going to have your gender that you're biologically assigned to at birth, or rather, we're going to conflate gender and sex as if they're the same thing. So that's essentially what he stood on, and he actually did pass legislation to support that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's stupid. I think that it clogged up a bunch of our federal government's workings by like there like a mandate for federal government workers to remove pronouns from their bios. It's like why there was like I've heard stories of like federal workers, their whole job for a while was just removing pronouns from people's bios because of this like weird aversion to it. Yeah, I think it's stupid. It's a waste of time. If you want to make an argument that like trans people are mentally ill or whatever, I truly do not care. I'm a libertarian. I think you should be able to do like those kind of decisions are between you, potentially your parents and your doctor. I don't think that the government should be involved in that sort of thing. I don't know why we would want the government to be involved in that sort of thing. The government should not have a part to play in that kind of thing. Yeah, I see no reason why we would want a executive order signed like that. It's just stupid and it seems like culture war stuff. And there's like real issues that need solved.
Well, let me tell you why that's important. So, for one thing, you mentioned taking pronouns out of the bios of government workers. So,
Mm-hmm.
for one, that's a highly politicized issue. It's a highly controversial talking point.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked for the government before for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that just like any company, the government functions in a similar way as to where they don't want to link their organization to your political beliefs. Like, for example, a member of the United States military
Mm-hmm.
doesn't go and, or I'm not going to say they don't, but they should not, they're not allowed to go out and make some sort of public statement
Mm-hmm.
or political statement or religious statement wearing a uniform, especially now their name tag and unit patch or whatever on there, because that's linking the government or an organization that's about being professional and accomplishing a task to your political ideologies or
Mm-hmm.
religion. So that's one reason.
Sure. But I mean, keep in mind that there's two really big distinctions there. One is that the government is necessarily going to be political in all cases because politics is how you govern. So the government is like by necessity political. Anything that the government does is political. And then the
That's
second thing
not
is
that's not
you
exactly
said
true.
that if you're voting for Donald Trump to do this, it feels just like a waste of time. Like why would you waste your vote just to get pronouns out of government workers' bios? Like, is that really the biggest issue facing the world right now?
So to respond to that, I would say for one, that's not exactly how the government works. Not all branches and entities of the government, including the military and the postal service,
Mm-hmm.
not all pieces and parts of the government
They
necessarily are in
absolutely
some sort
are.
of
They are.
political debate or whatever.
They are.
Uh,
I mean,
We'll
like
get back to that,
whether or
but
not the military is deployed to a certain place, or whether or not like the military wants to be deployed to a certain place, is a hyper political. It's like a hyper political thing. I mean, Donald Trump was attacking the safety of mail in ballots. That's attacking. He was defunding the postal service. I mean, every government function that you can think of either is politicized because again, politics is just the way that you govern the country, or
being
it's going to be open to politicization because it's being run by the president, and that's political. That's just necessarily
so
the nature of politics.
the president doesn't run every entity of the government. The military, technically, yeah, he's our commander in chief. But I mean,
He's the
I've
commander
spent
in chief of the military.
yeah, but not the postal service and not the Parks and Recreation team and so on and so forth. So
Sure,
I'm
but
telling you, it's a
so
well, hold
those are
on one
executive
second.
agencies. Well, I mean,
Hold on.
I don't want to do like monologues back and forth. I just want to like hone
Well,
on
I mean,
in our
to be fair,
disagreements.
I haven't finished my point. So what are you disagreeing with yet? I mean, I
Well,
haven't
if you're
finished what I'm
laying out
saying.
premises to make an argument and I disagree with one of the premises, why would I let you lay out five other premises that I disagree with?
It's one thing I'm responding to. I mean, you
Exactly. I
actually made
disagree
two
with that
points.
thing, and it's a pretty foundational thing to your argument. So I just this is how it
Well,
goes. If I make the same kind of statements, I expect you to cut me off as well because these are important things to hash out. You know, these kind of if you want to come back to a point, that's fine. I just want to say that fuck. What were we saying? What did you say? Oh, these are executive agencies, and they fall under the executive branch. So, like the way that these agencies behave is super, super important. Like the president is super, super, super important to the way that executive agencies function.
okay, so again, I don't know that you have a real understanding of how government entities work.
Wait,
So,
how is that
okay,
wrong though?
so literally, okay, so let me explain it to you. Let's say I grant you, I guess what you're saying, right? You're saying they're being run by the government, and the government inevitably is going to be involved in some sort of politics.
Mm-hmm.
So a Parks and Recreation department, right? Like that would let's say like clean up Yellowstone and run national parks, right? The individuals in that agency aren't supposed to input their political opinion by policy. That's their own
Mm-hmm.
policy. That's a government wide policy for employees. Second of all, the individual that makes the laws and policies for those departments has the essentially the say, the final say. It's not for us individuals who work there to make any sort of opinion on behalf of those departments because we
True.
fall
Yeah.
in line with the government. So
Mm-hmm.
as a whole, like I guess in congruence with that policy and in alignment with that policy, yeah, taking he, him, and she, her out of the bios is kind of like saying the same thing. Like, hey, whatever we say on the government level, that's what we're going to do. You guys work for us. We pay you a salary. We give you benefits.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to cause further issues or divisions by having
But
everyone
I mean,
talk in their little circles.
is it not equally political to say that you're not allowed to do it?
No, it's a apolitical
Really?
issue. Yeah, it's not. Just the same way
How
as
is it?
like
So it's political to have them
wearing a
there. How is it
uniform.
not political to not to mandate that it's not there?
It's the same thing as wearing a uniform. It's not up for us
No,
to have
it's
the
not the same thing
decision.
as wearing a uniform. That's not true.
It is the same thing because you can wear clothing that would maybe. So I would say I'm very into fashion myself. So
Mm-hmm.
I know that like a lot of times what people do with their clothing is an expression of who they are. So when you're working
Mm-hmm.
for the government, you're literally supposed to be like another number because if
Mm-hmm.
we start getting into these whole issues of what you're wearing and who you voted for and blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of takes down the efficiency of that department or that branch or that not I wouldn't say branch, but that entity of the government, i.e., the military.
So you'd argue it's more efficient to have these workers who are not doing their job just to like remove a bunch of pronouns or ensure that pronouns are removed from people's email handles. That's
Who
efficiency.
who is not doing the job? What are you talking about?
I mean, we've had giant cutoffs in the federal government. Like I think like 35% of IRS got cut. But I mean, like why would we waste our time mandating that we can't put pronouns in your email handle? That's the opposite of efficiency. That's wasting time.
So again, I kind of already explained that, but as a wider issue to hit on your second point that you made, As a you mentioned culture wars, but yeah, I
Mhm.
suppose yeah, to a certain extent that's valid. There is a sort of push to not necessarily influence the wider culture with
Mhm.
a minority idealism. Most people, I would say, and I think if you're being honest, you probably agree. Most people don't fall into the category of being trans, and most
Yeah,
people are not going
obviously.
to, right? And not people, not many people, like comparative to the population of the country or the world, are going to follow the trans ideology. They're not going to use, pronouns for someone that's not born into a specific gender that would denote that pronoun. Most people feel that way.
I guess my question is like, why is Donald Trump focusing on getting rid of trans like pronouns in email headlines or like taglines when we should be focusing on like actual issues that affect anything, that are like material,
Again,
that don't just waste time like this. This is like this is just it's actually just virtue signaling, and it's nothing. Like, why would
virtue
you vote for
signaling.
somebody who is like a multi-time convicted felon, all right, got indicted for trying to steal the last election, is a super big xenophobe who inflames the rhetoric all the fucking time? Why would we vote for somebody like that? Because it gets rid of pronouns and email handles.
So, well, as far as the felony thing, are all crimes equal?
No.
So, do you care about a white collar crime more than like a rapist who assaulted many people? Like
I care about
if
it
I
less.
maybe
Yeah, I care about it less.
right, I misallocated some money versus,
Mm-hmm.
I raped somebody.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I care
you
about it
would care
less.
about
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So, maybe we don't care that much about white collar crimes. Those
Well,
who gets convicted of 34 felonies? Obviously, some of those are just dismissible.
do you
Maybe
know
one
what
or two of them are legit.
do you know what the other two indictments were for? The other three indictments, sorry, were for?
I don't know all 34 of them. I can probably name a few of them. Tell me which
Well,
one you're just
there
talking
was
about
the
specifically.
one indictment for the 34 charges in New York for falsifying business records. That's the one that he was found guilty of. There was
Yeah.
the first Jack Smith indictment, which was about trying to steal the 2020 election, which is pretty crazy. There was the other Jack Smith indictment, which was for retaining and willfully sharing classified records, which is pretty fucking crazy. And then there was another charge in Georgia for trying to steal Georgia's election in 2020. So, like,
Did
why
he
would
get
we?
Wait, did he get convicted of selling government records, like espionage, essentially,
No, it
or
wasn't.
treason?
It wasn't selling government records. It was like willfully retaining classified records and then sharing them with other people.
And that was a felony charge he was convicted of as a felon.
He was not convicted. He was indicted.
So he wasn't convicted. So I only
No,
care
but d-
for one thing. I only care about things you're convicted of. Second of all, we
no,
just
no, you don't.
agreed that not,
That's
not
that's so. Like, if I could
I
show
only
you,
care about what
if
you're
I could show
convicted of.
you, if I could show you a video of Donald Trump saying I could have declassified this when I was president, but I didn't, but here it is anyway. Would he need to be convicted of a crime in order for you to think that's bad?
Uh, so I don't think that all convictions of all crimes are necessarily bad. For example,
Uh huh.
you smoke some of that green stuff, right? And I
Sure.
pull up
Yeah.
on you and arrest you. I don't think you did any bad, even though technically, yeah, you did it. You committed a crime, but
Sure,
you
but
didn't do
that's
anything bad.
but that's not the question I'm asking. I'm saying, like, does he need to be convicted if we have him on video saying I didn't declassify this when I was president, like I should have, so it remains classified, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. If we had a video of him saying that, he wouldn't need a conviction in order to know that he did that, right?
To know he did that?
Yeah.
No, of course not. Not if I had an actual video, assuming it's not
Okay.
AI generated or anything, right? If
It
it's a real
okay.
video,
So the
sure.
reason that I ask you that is because I'm pretty sure we do literally have a video of him saying that. So I mean,
But but do I care about that? Like, what is he? What is
wait,
he?
why would you not care about that?
What do you think the point is of classifying information?
Classifying potential attack plans on Iran, like the ones he was sharing. Those are
Yeah,
pretty important.
why do you think, as general people who are not in the military in any capacity, have any right to that info?
No, I'm saying they don't have a right to that info.
So I'm saying, like, okay, he did not declassify it. So what's the issue?
He didn't declassify it, so it remained classified. That's the issue.
Right. Why would we declassify something like that?
The problem is that he did not declassify it and he showed it to other people anyway. The problem
So did
isn't that he didn't declassify it. The problem is that he was showing people classified documents about potential attack plans for Iran.
who did he show it to?
It was some like reporter guy.
Some reporter.
Hmm.
Is this
I
alleged or
encourage
is
you
it
to.
like?
No, we have him on video saying I should have declassified this. He was indicted for it. It was showed to a grand jury. They moved to indict him. And keep in
Well,
mind,
hey,
the only reason why this trial did not go forth is because people who I believe are stupid or liars voted for him to allow him to escape all of these criminal charges because the DOJ has a policy of not charging sitting presidents. So we will never see any of this go to court because you people voted for him.
well, I will say every president probably did something I disagree with that he probably should serve some time with, and I think that is one of the things I probably don't agree with. But just
Sure,
because I don't agree with that one thing doesn't mean that I don't agree with a
but
large
it goes
majority.
back to my original question of why would we vote for somebody to get rid of like trans taglines and somebody's email sign off when he was willfully sharing classified information with random people when he tried to steal the 2020 election and he was indicted did two separate indictments for it. He was
Well,
already a convicted felon. He
here's the
inflames
thing about
rhetoric over
that.
and over and over again.
So,
Why would we
so here's
vote
the
for
thing about
somebody like that?
that video you're talking about is kind of similar to the video of people saying, "Oh, he went into Team USA dressing room or whatever like that," right? So if you actually watch the video, that's not what he said. He actually owns the
Yes, sure.
adult. Well, no, he actually owns
That's
the
not what I'm
adult
bringing up
and the
though.
Team
I
USA.
like
No,
I'm not bringing that up though.
I know you're not bringing that up specifically. The point of me bringing that up is to say that if I don't know the whole entire context, that I don't actually really want to use that as proof in my argument
Do you want
because
to?
so
We
many
can walk
times.
all the way through it right now if you really want to.
Go ahead.
Okay, let's do it. Trump classified
How old are you, by the
documents
way?
indictment. I'm 21.
Okay.
Defendant Donald Trump was the 45th president of the United States. He held office from January 20th, 2017 to January 20th, 2021. As Trump had lawful access to the most sensitive classified documents and national defense information gathered by and owned by the United States government, including information from agencies that compromise the United States intelligence community and the United States Department of Defense. Over the course of his presidency, Trump gathered newspapers, press clippings, notes, cards, photographs, official documents, and other material in cardboard boxes and kept them at the White House. Among the materials Trump stored in those boxes were hundreds of classified documents. The classified documents Trump stored in the box included information regarding defense and weapon capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries, United States nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities in the United States and its allies to military attack, and possible plans for retaliation in response to foreign attacks. Um, Let me read you the transcript. You can
Where's
look
the
up
video?
the audio recording is out on YouTube. I can pull it up in a second, but I want to read you the transcript real quick.
Sure. I also want to know why, if he showed it to the reporter, how come the reporter didn't bring it to light? Why is it not out here?
Because if you're sharing with a reporter potential plans to attack Iran, you would probably be charged for like espionage or treason if you shared that with the media. You probably went straight to the FBI.
Uh, sure for now, I guess. But
In July 2021, Trump National Golf in Bedminster, New Jersey, during an audio recorded meeting with a writer, publisher, and two members of his staff, none of whom possessed a security clearance, Trump showed and described a plan of attack that Trump said was prepared for him by the Department of Defense and a senior military official. Trump told the individuals that the plan was highly confidential and secret. Trump also said, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, but it's still secret. And then he points to he shows them the attack plan.
does he show them? He point to the box or the attack plan?
To the document that was
Well, how do you know
classified.
that?
That's what's
You,
alleged in the indictment.
that's alleged. Okay, again, that's alleged, and then there's no actual video. You're just talking about audio recording. So now
Wait,
that's why
is
that's
that
why it
is
didn't.
wait is that unreliable? If it was shown to a grand
Yes,
jury,
it's
how could people?
unreliable because you say point it to, and then
Yeah,
there's no. Yeah, so we don't know what he pointed to. He could have pointed to a steel vault, with documents behind the door, or he could have pointed to a piece of paper sitting on the desk. We
I'm
don't
pretty sure
actually
in the
know.
audio recording we can literally hear papers like crumpling or whatever. But I mean,
That
I
doesn't
can look it up.
mean that doesn't mean anything though. It could be any papers. The president probably has a lot of papers on
Yeah,
his
this is
desk.
cope. This is cope. Come on.
It's not a cope. I mean, that just makes logical sense. Like, okay,
No, it doesn't.
you're messing
JB, we
around on
begin
your
tonight
desk
with
or whatever, right? I don't know what's on your desk until you show me on the video.
Let's
It's a very visually centered thing right there.
let's take a listen.
while an audio recording has surfaced where former President
I
Donald
mean,
Trump appears to
I'll
discuss
listen to it, but if you play
classified
me audio
documents
of someone ruffling papers, that doesn't actually make any difference, though.
Let's just listen to the audio real quick, buddy.
in
Sure.
his possession at his New Jersey club in 2021 with people who did not have security clearance.
I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just
What's
came
going
up.
on?
Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off.
Are we gonna play it?
They presented me
Playing.
this.
Is it not playing? Can you not hear it?
No, I can't hear a thing.
Oh, can anybody in the chat hear it? I know the people on my stream could hear it. Could the people in TikTok hear it? No, you can't hear it? Oh, okay. Give me 1 second then.
How can they hear it? I can't hear it.
Oh, the people in the chat, in the YouTube chat can hear, or in the TikTok chat can hear it. Okay, well then I guess if you want to watch the same video that I'm watching right now, just take a second. From NBC News, it's called "Audio from 2021 Reveals Trump Discussing Classified Documents."
So it's an audio recording. So I mean, can we not concede that that's not always the most reliable? Like, you take an audio recording in court and talk about something that's heavily dependent on your visual perception. Do you think the court is going to throw that out, or do you think they're going to say, yeah, that's definitely reliable?
Okay, this audio literally says, "I'll show you an example," and then paper shuffle. He says, "Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This just came up. Look." And then this was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. Like, I don't think you could ever get more clear evidence of this ever.
It's actually not that clear. Look, what is
Really?
this?
He said, "I'll
Yeah.
show you an example," and then pulls out a piece of paper. And you don't think
Show an
that
example.
shows him? And then he says, "I should have declassified this when I was president, but I didn't." You don't think that shows him showing a
No,
document?
because me and you could be having a conversation like this, right? And if there's no actual visual to it, there's a lot of context missing. I could be referring
Wait,
to one.
what
So,
context is missing? Like, what
so there's
exculpatory context could you possibly perceive of?
so if you watch, like, you ever seen Goodfellas,
No,
the movie?
nope.
No.
Uh-uh.
What's a movie you seen?
I've seen plenty of movies.
Saving Private Ryan.
I haven't seen a lot of the blockbusters.
Jesus Christ, dude, come on, man. You seen I don't know, Frozen?
Yeah, sure. I've seen Frozen.
Oh, thank Christ! I'm like, all right, look.
Evening, we
Every
begin
politics aside, I'm not gonna lie. Frozen 8. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
All right, but so yeah, like if you watch Frozen, right? There's a lot of things like if you close your eyes and watch the movie, if you sit there and listen to it, you can probably follow along to a certain point. There's going to be certain visual cues and like directions and like eyeball darting and pointing that you're not going to be able to pick up on because you're only hearing it. And you're going to actually miss a lot of what's going on. You're not going to laugh at some of the jokes because they're visual things. And so what I'm trying to say is a lot of your communication is nonverbal. You ever hear that 80% of your communication nonverbal? So like a lot of what you have to do is kind of like watch for context, but you can't watch for context if there's no video. Now, but look,
Sure.
let's say this. Let's say that happened, right?
All right, wait. Let's
Let's
do an
say-
experiment real quick. Actually.
Okay.
Okay. Let me do this real quick.
Well, can I at least finish what I was saying real quick?
Well, I think this is important. Let's do an example real quick, okay?
Okay.
All right. I didn't declassify this when I was president. But right here is the plan. And I didn't declassify it like I should have.
That's
Like,
not
what do you think
that's
is
not what-
happening? What do you think is
That's
happening
not
when
what
that
he said.
when that
That's not what he
happened?
said.
That
You
is
just read the transcript.
Almost
That's not what he said.
verbatim what he said.
Almost, but what is verbatim? What did he say? Did he use the
Said,
word "this
"I'll-"
is the plan," or did he say, "Look at this"?
I don't.
So if if you do the same
I don't even know
experiment,
what to say, man.
if you do the same experiment, then yeah, it's going to be a little bit more vague. Because if you do the same experiment and use his words verbatim, look at this, then yeah, it's going to be a bit more vague. But what I was
Okay,
saying
let's
is,
read it. Let's read it.
wait,
Well,
wait, wait. What I was saying was, let's say you're 100% right, right? Let's just say throw my argument out the window. I will say if that happened, that's probably a stupid thing to do.
no,
However,
no, no, not just stupid. Like, why would you vote for somebody who is this callous
oh,
with military
well, let
attack
me
plans
well
because
let
he'll
me
get
land my
rid of
plane.
pronouns in your email bio?
Let me land my plane.
Uh huh.
So that one stupid act, sure, we can agree collectively that that is not a smart thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you look at all the presidents in all of history, they've all done multiple things that we would either call stupid or callous or just mean or bad in some sort of a way. The point isn't to see who's got a sparkly, crystal clean record. The point is, who do you think is going to actually be effective in
I
getting done
agree.
what you want to be done?
I agree,
And if
but
you
first
want
of
certain
all,
stuff to be
I would
done,
I would disagree that anybody, any former president, almost ever. I mean, we could probably go back to the one that like reinvented the KKK, but I mean, like, I don't think almost any president ever has been like this terribly incompetent in like preserving classified information, or has been like this
really.
terribly callous and hated our American institutions enough to try and steal an election. I don't think
Okay.
we've seen anything like that from any other president. And again,
Hate
it
it.
would be different if he was like a legislative powerhouse, like somebody like Joe Biden, who got a lot of fucking really good pieces of legislation passed. But Donald Trump is dog shit. Like, he hasn't even done anything good. and and
Well,
and, the,
good.
and
So you're using a
it's
lot of.
clear. It's also that fact is also clear because when I asked you, like, okay, I don't think Donald Trump has done anything that his supporters would even find like particularly successful, nor does it outweigh his bads. And you said, okay, well, what about the executive order where he got rid of like trans people's like pronouns in their email bio? Like, this is the steel
You
man for
brought that
Donald
up
Trump.
specifically,
Well, I mean,
but
like, what?
also
That's all that executive order did was do it
it's
on
not all
do
that.
that on a
It's not
federal
all that it
level.
did. No, it's not all that it did. It lessened the impact of the ideology of the left, and people did vote for that.
No, that did
Second
that.
of all,
No, it
you
didn't.
can't say that's the only thing it did.
A piece of paper doesn't weaken an ideology.
I would definitely say, yeah, once you can't spread it as much anymore, you stop the reach
They
of that
can literally still
ideology.
spread it.
They can, but it's not as effective if the government doesn't throw its weight behind it.
The
But
government,
also,
that executive order is doing nothing to stop the spread of trans ideology at all.
you said he did nothing. So good is subjective. What you think is good is subjective.
No, I don't believe
However,
that's true, but that's okay.
okay, well, you don't have to agree with that, I guess, but I think that's like literally true. What you think is good is subjective. The word good by itself in definition is a subjective thing.
That is not true,
So
but that's okay. Go, keep
okay,
going.
we can touch back on that in a second.
Uh huh.
A lot of people voted for for getting illegal immigrants out of the country, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing he's also been
He's done
doing.
dog shit at that. I mean, like, the only
What are
time
you talking about? It just started.
his
He's done.
removal. I mean, like, a lot of Republicans are even pointing out how dog shit he's been at doing the removals. Like, his removal numbers are not that crazy, and we're
It just
presupposing
started.
that that's even a good aim. And three, he's been doing it illegally. I mean, like, the signing the Alien Enemies Act to do these kind of deportations was fucking insane, and he got shot down by the courts predictably because this is wartime power during peacetime. It's insane. That's crazy.
But people voted for removal of illegal aliens.
I
They
agree, and
they
people
voted
also
for that.
voted for the person who tried to steal the last election. So I don't really hold a lot of
Well,
value in what the people voted
you
for.
can say that, and then people who don't like Biden can say Biden's racist. Biden's been
Yeah,
racist
the
his entire
difference is that
career.
I'm right and they're wrong. Donald Trump actually did objectively try to steal the 2020 election, and we can walk through that entire plot as well. I have a feeling that you're probably going to cope right at the end about it as well, but we can
Yeah,
walk through that entire
Biden.
plot if you want to. Any
Biden
evidence that you
has
have of Joe Biden being racist is either going to be him being old, is going to be
what?
him
Him being
having
old?
him having a misquoted thing that Hillary Clinton actually
Wait a
said,
minute.
or
What
him doing
is
the eulogy for Robert Byrd, who completely did
what
like a
is him being
180 in his
old?
entire career.
What is him being old? What does that have to do with him
That
being
he has a
racist or
stutter and he
not?
says stupid shit that he doesn't mean.
He says stupid shit he doesn't mean.
Hmm.
Okay, so your brain has to have already had some sort of programming to have those words ready at the tip of your tongue. So like, if you have
If he said the N
Alzheimer's,
word, maybe.
Okay, yeah, if you have Alzheimer's and you do say the N word, it's not because all of a sudden Alzheimer's gave you the ability to say the N word like unrestrained. It's probably because you
Sure.
already had that in your brain because you used
Uh-huh.
to say it. And so him being old doesn't excuse him from being racist. Biden's definitely been, if you look at a lot of his old videos when he was like actually a member of the Senate and
Hmm.
when he was at like the state level, he's had a lot of anti-black policies.
Like
He's
what?
been pro.
Like what?
He's been pro. So he not only acknowledged that black people are being disproportionately affected by like things like throwing people in jail for MJ. I don't know if I can say it, the
That's just
name online.
objectively true. That's not racist. That's
How
just true.
no, I haven't finished. I haven't finished.
Uh-huh.
He then celebrated the fact that he and Kamala Harris, or excuse me, he and his administration at that level were pro locking people up for that type of thing. They were anti-drug. They ran really hard on anti-drug, and that was one of the things that was like actually it still is the most used drug today that we've decriminalized at this point. But they were happy about throwing black and brown people in jail for 30 years a piece, a pop for
I
those
think
type of
you're
charges.
so that was Kamala Harris when she was the attorney general. That was not Joe Biden.
Biden definitely advocated for that.
For
He,
throwing
he was
people for throwing people in jail for marijuana possession?
for enforcing those types of laws, yes. He also he also
Everybody is in favor of enforcing laws except for Donald
not all
Trump. Donald
laws, not
Trump's not
all
Donald
laws.
Trump's not in favor of enforcing
So,
laws,
but
but everybody else with a brain is going to be in favor of enforcing laws. I mean, that like even when you're making that attack against Kamala Harris, that was literally her entire job. She was the attorney general.
yeah, someone's in the comments saying that I'm black. I don't need to be offended in my behalf. I'm half black. I don't know if you count that as full black or whatever you want. Yeah, my mother's black, so I'm not doing it on behalf of you. I'm just pointing out that if you know one thing is true and you know another thing is true and they're connected and you praise that thing, then I feel like everything that comes with that you kind of have to be accountable for.
This
For
is
example, if you're disproportionately affecting certain communities and you're in favor of laws that disproportionately affect them, just to later on be like, it's actually not that bad. Yeah, it should be decriminalized. It should be a state issue.
wait.
Then I feel like you just you
Do you
just
think
flipped on your.
Do
Go
you
ahead.
also think there's a difference between if you think that these laws being enforced in the 90s was a good way to crack down on like rampant crime in the 90s, but then you realize that it has a disproportionate effect on certain groups 30 years later, that makes you
No, no,
racist?
no. He knew that then. He was speaking in some fucking room or something like that. I don't know if he was at a Senate meeting or where he was speaking. I can't recall that, but he was speaking in front of people, and he was during that time when he was younger Joe Biden. I guess he was like 40 something. He knew that then. He ran on that type of stuff then. He was heavily into that whole anti-drug. That was the Dare era. I don't know if you're
Mm-hmm.
8 years younger than me, so I don't know if
Yeah, it
that
was.
affected you in
Yeah,
the
I.
same way.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the Dare era. That was just a popular thing to say. So, I mean, you can also put in he must be grifting then if he doesn't actually believe that stuff. If he just changed his mind, he's grifting then.
Yeah, no, this
But
is just this is just nuclear cope. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like
nuclear coke.
to compare this to me saying that Donald Trump tried to steal the last election, so I don't really care what a Trump supporter values. Like it's this is insane. And to
I
say
don't know
that
that.
Donald Trump saying here is my declassified plan. This is the plan that they wanted me to do, but saying that doesn't constitute him sharing the
I
plan.
actually don't. I actually don't care about him, quote unquote, trying to steal the election. I don't think anyone thought that was going to actually work. I don't know if he tried to
Yeah,
steal it, but I
that's
get what you're saying.
insanity. That's the end of the
Uh,
country whenever you start making statements like that.
that's the end of the country.
Yes, whenever you stop caring about somebody electing like fundamentally and self-admittedly anti-democratic people to lead a democratic country and expect them to leave office in another 4 years because they respected our institutions so much the first time, yes, that's the end of our country.
You say that, but the left actively promotes anti-free speech. That's
So
our First Amendment
Donald
right.
Trump, wait, name me a single time that an elected official has gone after your First Amendment rights, and I'll name you another time where Donald Trump did it more brazenly.
So first of all, if you're going to say the whole flag burning thing, I disagree with that too.
Wait,
I'll
no,
admit
it's not
I
about you
disagree.
disagreeing with it. It's about Donald Trump disagreeing with the First Amendment.
Right. And I agree that that is the case right there. I don't think he should have said something like that. I can admit
Not only said
when
something like
I
that,
don't
but signed an executive order.
right. I don't think that I'm the type of person who can't admit where someone I voted for or supported does something I don't agree with. I
Yes, but
can
the
definitely say that.
the problem
But
is like these tacit like disapprovals or these tacit disagreements where you can say, "Oh, I voted against the left because they're anti-free speech." And I say, "Oh, well didn't you vote for a guy who's also anti-free speech?" And you're like, "Yeah, I disagree with him on some stuff." Well, no. That's like the whole reason why you didn't vote for the left. So I like this is incoherent. If you're saying you didn't vote for the left because they attack your First Amendment, and then Donald Trump also attacks your First Amendment, by the way, more brazenly than any other elected official on the left. I mean, you can point to. Can you tell me one thing that Kamala Harris would have done that would have compromised your First Amendment rights?
yeah, so the idea of promoting this like trans ideology of saying that people are not able to tell their kids whether or not they want to, excuse me, not being able to tell their kids whether or not they can get hormone replacements and not being able to choose the curriculum that the school puts out in relation to that type of thing. Like for example, back in the day when there was like sex ed, people
Choosing your local school's curriculum is not your First Amendment right. And Kamala Harris never said that you should not have that the parents shouldn't have a say in whether or not somebody transitions. And on top of that, promoting something as vague as promoting transgender ideology is an attack on your First Amendment rights, where
yeah,
Donald
because
Trump literally
let me
signed an
explain it.
executive order saying that burning the flag should be a 1-year felony, where he's
Yeah.
revoking student visas for somebody who's critical of Israel, when
Mhm.
he's like, these are actual real attacks on First Amendment rights. And there's your first example
So
was, well,
let me
Kamala
explain it.
Harris promotes transgender ideology. Oh my
Let
God.
me let me explain it. So when you give people essentially punishments in a sort of a way for that type of thing, you're promoting that ideology. And when people speak out against it, if they're under that same group of people, they're going to be punished for it. Either they're going to have the children taken away and they're going to claim that they're abusing the children. That's taking away
Why
your
did
right to speak out.
when did Kamala Harris even come out and say that she would be in favor of taking away somebody's children for being anti-trans?
Well, I said first of all, I said the left, but Kamala
No, well,
Harris
I
definitely.
brought up. I asked you about Kamala Harris, so don't pivot off to the left. I asked you about Kamala Harris. What did
You
Kamala Harris
pivoted.
promote that would be
You
anti-free
actually
speech
pivoted, but
in a comparable way to Donald Trump outlawing burning the flag or revoking student visas for people who are critical of Israel?
yeah, she said multiple times that she supports that type of thing. She supports trans rights and she supports
Okay,
gender affirming
this is
care for
just
youth.
ridiculous, Cope. Oh my God. Oh my God. My bones hurt. Oh my God.